San Antonio business leaders headed to Washington, D.C. today to talk with lawmakers about bringing some federal dollars back to San Antonio to pay for transportation improvements and more. We talked to Mayor Ron Nirenberg about the annual trip and why this year is so important. KENS 5 reporter Vanessa Croy has the story.
Well, the delegates will be meeting with the nation's top leaders, including face-to-face time with the National Security Agency and departments of energy and transportation. Well, the mayor told us the purpose of sending such a large group is for those lawmakers to see the force of San Antonio with a united voice. Mayor Ron Nirenberg, other local leaders, and thousands from the San Antonio business community are headed to D.C. today.
The importance of making our presence felt and for them to hear our story on a pretty consistent basis is very clear because it does result in real dollars in return on investment for our local community.
Their mission, Nirenberg says, is to advocate for federal partnerships.
We have an enormous opportunity in cities across the country to emerge from this pandemic in a strong position economically, and part of that is the resources being provided by the federal government.
The chamber says getting in front of lawmakers to share their stories in person is the best way to influence funding decisions.
That we need to tell the story repeatedly up in D.C. about the needs that we have, because any major activity, capital improvements, etc., are done in collaboration with other government levels, state and federal. This is where it begins in terms of a lot of the funding that comes down through the state and into local communities.
Part of that funding, so vital this year, is money coming down from President Biden's infrastructure law and federal help for pandemic recovery. The mayor says even though the city doesn't shell out the big bucks for trips to D.C. like other cities with larger pocketbooks, they're still competing for the same dollars.
These decisions are made ultimately by appointees of administrations, and they need to hear from the local communities that are applying for these funds. There are cities across the country that are vying for limited pots of resources from the federal government. We want to make sure that they're hearing San Antonio's story loud and clear.
Part of Biden's infrastructure plan includes funding for transportation. Mayor Nirenberg said that's a major need for San Antonio and a priority for the delegation. That group arrived in D.C. this afternoon, and they come back on Wednesday. Vanessa Croy, KENS 5.